My friends, hold on to your hats. We're about to enter the Twilight Zone. We're about to enter a mirror world in which what's right is wrong and what's sane is insane. Oddly enough, this comes from the Mirror over in England, and I quote, "Like many young women, Rhea Cooper dreams of one day getting married and having children. But the 23-year-old knows the odds are stacked against her, not only because she was born a boy, but because she now has switched gender an astonishing 3 times in her short life. Rhea, who was born Brad, became Britain's youngest sex swap patient at 15. Doctors controversially backed her belief she was a girl in a boy's body. She was given blockers to stop her going through puberty, followed by injections of female hormones to impede face and chest hair and trigger the formation of breasts. But with her life spiraling out of control as she struggled with her new identity and fears of never being accepted as a woman, Rhea decided to transition back and live her life instead as a gay man. Before having crucial surgery, she ended her treatment and became Brad again soon after her 18th birthday. It turned her into the unwitting poster boy for those who claim teenagers were too young to be given gender reassignment. Unquote. Those who claim, not who realize, but those who claim teenagers are too young to be given the decision power over gender reassignment. My friends, this is an atrocity so terrible I won't even attempt to describe it. This poor soul, lost, spinning out of control, born a boy, became a girl, back to a boy so he can be gay. This is an illustration of how sick our society, Western society, has become. He's got major, major problems, and I'm willing to bet everybody around Brad, Rhea, whatever he or she is today, is saying, "Oh, we applaud your bravery, we love your courage. If you feel like it should be this, then go with this. If you want that, whatever you want is good by us." They are guilty for ruining this poor kid's life. Not only should teenagers not decide on gender reassignment surgery, no human being should. Instead, they should get themselves to a competent psychiatrist and figure out what's broken in their heads, because I assure you something is broken. I have compassion for Brad/Rhea. May not sound it, but I do, because I have children too, and this kid is in for a very, very unhappy 80 or 90 years. It's real truth. It's Monday. We'll be right back.
Your local DuPont Pioneer team doesn't take with you from the word go lightly, especially when it comes to forages.
We're going to go there and work with those customers to try and find out what they need, what their true needs are, and meet and exceed those needs.
Meet Ron Grusho, Pioneer sales professional. He brings the Silage Zone resource to local dairy producers every day.
Whether it's a night, Saturday, weekend, be the go-to guy and take time to invest in their success is your success.
He brings more than just industry-leading products to the table.
When you have the opportunity to come down that driveway and sit down there and visit, you're looking for that long-term relationship.
Want a team that's with you from the word go? That's Ron Grusho and your local DuPont Pioneer team. Ask them about leveraging the Silage Zone resource to produce the highest quality forages for your operation.
It's people working with people.
Pioneer, with you from the word go.
The American Freedom Network is not funded or supported by special interest groups or government programs. The American Freedom Network is not sponsored by advertisers demanding content or programming control. The American Freedom Network is solely funded by you, the listener. Please help keep the American Freedom Network on the air by purchasing one of our sponsors' fine products or by calling 1-800-205-6245 to make a donation. The American Freedom Network needs your help.
All right, guys, let's get down to business. This is Howard Riell, Real Truth. Full week ahead of us. Let's do some good. Here's Rush Limbaugh weighing in on the fact that the static surrounding Donald Trump isn't just static. It's not just fake news, sensationalism. It's not entertainment. People are trying to overturn the decision of more than 62 million American voters. It's effectively a coup d'etat. And Russia's about to make that point. Let's listen in.
Are trying to overturn a fairly constituted election. This is effectively voter nullification. The powers that be in Washington are simply saying, you know what, we don't like who you chose. It doesn't matter to us who you chose. You don't count. You're irrelevant. Screw the Constitution. We're going to get rid of this guy. And if we can't get rid of him, we're going to paralyze him so that none of what you do, none of what you want him to do is going to get done. Try winning at the voter booth. Not going to be easy, but that's the way you're supposed to do it. Now, that's what they can't do, see? So the way they accommodate for that is they have all the judges. They have all the judges they can. They have all of the other systems controlled that they can when they lose elections. But Trump is exactly right here, and people are craving this reaction, this pushback. Trump was known for it during the campaign, and he hasn't done much pushback on this whole Russia hoax business and collusion business since it began, but he did, and you see the reaction to it. And people watching in the swamp are sitting there, and again, I always want to warn you, when they see all this unbridled support for Trump, it doesn't tell them that maybe they're doing something wrong. It steels their resolve to oppose Trump even more. They resent and despise your support for Trump. They hate it. And you will pay. You will pay. You don't run anything.
My friends, this is a very, very important point, and let me highlight it. When the media says the swamp or the deep state hate Trump, what they really mean is they hate you and me. Trump is just our messenger, like he said during the campaign. He works for us. They resent the fact and they despise the fact that he's giving the government back to us. So it's not that they hate Trump necessarily, although they probably do. They hate you and me. They hate the average American. They don't want us meddling in their elite business of running this country. They don't believe that America belongs to the American people. They believe America belongs to them. That's why electing Trump was so very, very important. We knew it would be messy. We knew they weren't just going to take their ball and go home. And this is what it looks like. But know this. When they say they hate Trump, it really means they hate you. Let's go back to Rush.
You voters, you klutzes, you have no power. You don't really control anything. That's what they're demonstrating here. They are trying to overturn a fairly constituted election because they don't like the results. And what they're really saying is that your votes are irrelevant. If you vote against the way they want things to go. In fact, grab soundbite number 10. This is Kellyanne Conway. I'm looking for you. Yeah, Kellyanne Conway. She was on Fox and Friends this morning. Steve Doocy. So one of the things the president said last night that we haven't heard before is they're trying to cheat you. What does he mean? What's he talking about?
That was one of my favorite lines of the night, or passages of the night, where basically the president is telling the people of West Virginia, and by extension the country, that the media, the investigators, the Democratic Party, they're not just denying the election results for Donald Trump, they're denying the American people who put him here. And they're trying to cheat them out of their rightful presidency, but also all of the good that's going to come from this presidency. And there in West Virginia, they've got 3% growth. Here across the country, we already have 2.6% growth.
Right. So I think it's abundantly clear. Trump is pointing this out. Jared Kushner got this whole theme going, and Trump has picked up Kellyanne Conway. And interesting, grab soundbite number 16. Without him, last night on the Tucker Carlson Show. Chatsworth Osborne Jr. tonight said 9 months since he got elected, from the very first day, people were saying we're going to take him out. Now this investigation looks like it has the potential to take Trump out. And jury was impaneled and all that. If that were to happen, if these people were to take the president out, some of these voters might conclude that they're really not allowed to pick their own president. Is that right, Charles?
We're really headed into very choppy and dangerous constitutional waters. You've got a political establishment, mostly Democratic, but there are some Republicans who would like to see him taken out of office.
Absolutely.
I think that would be a catastrophic mistake.
Yeah.
It would cause a rupture in the country where people would say, when we people, the ones who've been abandoned, elect somebody we like, our guy gets taken out. I thought we had a stable democracy.
It would be, my friends, a catastrophic mistake for America. But the people doing it don't give a rat's ass about America. It would be terrible for America, but it wouldn't be terrible for them. They'd still be left in power. They'd still be rich and powerful and influential. It's like all those bunkers under Mount Weather and all the other underground cities we have in America, and if you don't know about them, you should. In case there's a thermonuclear exchange and America gets turned to glass, the ruling elite will be safe in these underground cities. So what's terrible for America, they're okay with. That's the elite. That's the left, and some Republicans who are on the left. That's the horrifying truth. If it destroys America, they don't care because they themselves won't be destroyed. These are the Hillary people. These are the people you're voting for when you vote for Hillary or when you vote for Jeb with an exclamation point. Same thing. This is the swamp. This is the deep state. This is what Donald Trump has sworn to destroy on our behalf. That's why it's absolutely vital that we continue to support Trump in every way possible, and not just with our emotions. We need to get busy, we need to get active, we need to get loud, we need to get on the internet. We need to support him in real, palpable ways. Because if the deep state takes this country back, we're done. Let's take a commercial break, and we'll be back with more Real Truth.
And the Word became flesh and dwelt among us, and we beheld his glory, the glory as of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth. John bore witness of him and cried out, saying, This was he of whom I said, He who comes after me is preferred before me, for he was before me. The Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 14 and 15. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just power from the consent of the governed. This is the America News Network.
For I testify to everyone who hears the words of the prophecy of this book. If anyone adds to these things, God will add to him the plagues that are written in this book. And if anyone takes away from the words of the book of this prophecy, God shall take away his part from the book of life and from the holy city and from the things which are written in this book. Revelation 22, 18 and 19.
American Window Tinting Incorporated in Frighttown reminds parents, keep an eye on your child while shopping. Children tend to stray or become lost. This poses an opportunity for a would-be abductor. Please make every effort to keep track of your little ones at all times. If you have information regarding a lost child, call local authorities at once. This message is from American Window Tinting Incorporated in Franktown. For residential or commercial window tinting, call 303-263-4228.
Let us march on. Howard Riell, Real Truth. It's Monday, my friends. Lots to do. Here's Laura Ingraham. She does what I do. Not quite as well, but she does what I do. And she takes the torch and carries the torch for Rush Limbaugh. We know that they're trying to disconnect the American people from the right to choose their own leaders. So GOP voters, people who still believe America belongs to Americans, are demanding that Congress support Trump. Now, you wouldn't think it would be a Herculean thing to get Republicans to support a Republican president, but this is the 21st century. God help us. Here's Laura Ingraham.
Fish and blues. Well, I think the Trump administration has the fish and blues. But Rosenstein, the deputy attorney general, says, "Oh no, this is no fishing expedition. No worries. If it's outside the scope of the investigation, they'll have to come back to the deputy attorney general, the acting attorney general, which is me." Okay. Well, I think at that point it would do us all well to look back on what the original order was, the text of the actual order that authorized and appointed Bob Mueller as special counsel. Okay? And it was signed by Rod Rosenstein on May 17th, 2017. Okay? Because he wasn't ready to wet his pants. He was so nervous. He had to appoint the special counsel. He didn't want to go up to Capitol Hill and have to brief them on all this stuff. He had to get this off his plate real fast. And so you go back to the letter, and there's a lot of references to the underlying statutory authority, but then it goes on to say the special counsel. This is in Section B. The special counsel is authorized to conduct the investigation confirmed by then FBI Director Jim Comey and testimony before House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence. Number one, any links and or coordination included, so that he gets to investigate the Comey testimony before the House Intel Committee, including, okay, any links and or coordination between the Russian government and individuals associated with the campaign of Donald Trump. Now, you would assume that would be covered. That doesn't really surprise anyone. But here's the problematic provision. Any matters that arose or may arise directly from the investigation, and then there's another one, any other matters within the scope of 28 CFR, which is the statute, the regulatory provision that authorizes the special counsel's general appointment. Any matters that arose or may arise directly from the investigation. If the special counsel believes it's necessary and appropriate, the special counsel is authorized to prosecute federal crimes arising from the investigation of these matters. Any matters that arose or may arise directly from the investigation. Now think about what that means. So, does it arrive directly from the investigation if one of the investigators, one of these 16 lawyers now working for Mueller, finds some information regarding what they think might be, I don't know, a lease they want to look into? Because at one point in time, a Russian official made a call, or someone connected to a Russian official made a call to an office at one of the Trump properties. Now, it could be a call regarding a business matter, it could be a call regarding a trip to the United States, who knows? But someone who has some association with some bigwigs in Russia. Now, let's say they discover that phone call. And in the course of looking at that phone call, they decide, well, we want to look into all these other leases. We want to look into all these. Now, is that related directly to the investigation? And it's not just looking at leases of any Russian-related entity of any Trump property around the world. It's all leases. Then you have to look at other leases. Why? Because you want to know how these leases are negotiated, the general terms of said leases, and you want to do a comparison as an investigator. Then when you're in looking at these general lease agreements, then you come across something that, this looks like it might be interesting for tax consequences, or I'd like to see how they depreciated some of the equipment in this office that was also part of the lease. I wonder what kind of long-term depreciation they took on this. Then they want to look at all the general depreciation that any Trump-related business entity took, just but for comparison. Well, do you see how this quickly ends up into an issue that's far afield from Russian collusion or interference in the campaign? Because when I look at all this, I say, this seems like you could make a good argument that it's directly related. Well, it's directly, I found it as a result of the investigation. How is that not directly? That arose. No, listen to the wording. This is why you got to listen. It's like everyone's like, well, Rosenstein was really great on the Sunday shows. Rosenstein was great on the Sunday shows. Apparently, he's not even aware of the wording of his own letter. Any matters that arose, and now here's the kicker, or may arise directly from the investigation. Now, what lawyer can't make a really good argument that looking into tax returns from, 15 years, it may arise directly from the investigation because we want to look at income streams, and we didn't find anything over the past 10 years. We want to go back 15 years. Oh, and while we did this, we saw something interesting that was written off in some property in Scotland that they were working. Well, it kind of rose directly from the investigation. See how you can make this argument? It's far too broad, far too open-ended, which is why I think Alan Dershowitz is totally right. This is completely perilous as a statutory matter to have a special counsel appointed with such broad and seemingly endless budget. There's no end to the investigation. No one's going to deauthorize the investigation. What, stop funding the investigation? I guess Congress could do that. Here's the relevant regulation regarding the special counsel's jurisdiction. Okay, it's section 600.4, the jurisdiction.
All right, guys, you know what? I think the point's been made. And this all became possible because Jeff Sessions decided to recuse himself. It's a witch hunt designed to rob you of your voice and your vote. Know that. Very, very, very dangerous item from InfoWars. Abortion giant and alleged baby body part trafficker Planned Parenthood is encouraging parents of preschoolers to teach, quote, gender identity early on. In a page appearing on Planned Parenthood's official website, the organization tells parents, quote, your genitals don't make you a boy or a girl. And says boys can have vulvas while girls can have penises. Yeah, let's keep funding Planned Parenthood. Item from Reuters, Dateline Manila. North Korea is ready to give the United States a, quote, severe lesson with its strategic nuclear force if it takes military action against it, and will not put its nuclear program or its missiles on the negotiating table, it said in a statement to a regional meeting on Monday. In a transcript of a statement by Foreign Minister Ri Yong-ho, which was distributed to media in Manila, Pyongyang called new UN sanctions, quote, fabricated, and warned that there would be, quote, strong follow-up measures and acts of justice. It said the resolution showed the United Nations had abused its authority. It said its intercontinental ballistic missile tests in July proved the entire United States was in its firing range, and those missiles were a legitimate means of self-defense, unquote. My friends, we've been threatened with nuclear annihilation. And so we should do, well, so far we haven't done anything, have we? Item from the Daily Mail. It is a classic children's book which has been adapted into 16 much-loved films. But the newest big-screen retelling of the adventures of Huckleberry Finn is set to cause major controversy after it was revealed it will use the N-word. The highly offensive word was repeatedly used in the Mark Twain tome, which was published in 1884. Unquote. My friends, if we are going to start scrubbing the past, erasing the past, changing the past to meet today's ridiculous PC standards, then we are in danger of losing our history and ourselves. You don't like the N-word? I don't blame you. I don't like it either. But it's there. If you're going to study Huckleberry Finn, you can't change things in it. And if you are going to change things in it, you're not really studying Huckleberry Finn, are you? Item from NBC News. It's the state versus their cities. The issue? Illegal immigration. A growing number of proposed state laws designed to crack down on sanctuary cities are putting local leaders in those municipalities on the defensive, forcing many to fight off measures they say could cripple their crime-fighting abilities and threaten economic growth. Unquote. My friends, that is all crap. Keeping criminals out of your city, is not exactly going to raise the crime level, is it? Item from the London Telegraph. Male makeup counters could become a reality within 5 years. The UK boss of L'Oreal has said, as it is no longer a taboo for the, quote, selfie generation, unquote. My friends, male makeup counters, maybe Brad/Riell can spend some time there, depending, of course, on what gender he or she is today. Item from Climate Depot. Former Vice President Al Gore's new film, An Inconvenient Sequel, came in a dismal 15th this weekend at U.S. theaters, according to Box Office Mojo. Gore's defenders have been quick to blame Paramount Pictures for the dismal performance of the sequel. Al Gore gets ripped off again, screamed the headline of D.R. Tucker in Washington Monthly. Unquote. My friends, when liberals lose, well, they don't really lose because it's really his fault. And it's also her fault. And if not for that, they would have won. And yeah, they also would have won if that hadn't happened. Al Gore's film is doing dismally at the box office because of Russian collusion, James Comey, and American women hating women. No, wait a second. I'm sorry. Hold on. That's Hillary Clinton's set of excuses. I'm sorry. I apologize. Al Gore's new film is doing dismally at the box office because Americans aren't ready for a woman president. Wait a second. That's also Hillary's excuse. I apologize. That's Hillary's excuse. All right. Never. No. Al Gore's new film is doing dismally at the box office because the message behind the Democratic Party wasn't exactly precisely worded. I'm sorry. That's Hillary's excuse also. There's so many excuses out there for Democrats and liberals. I figured that was Al Gore's, but it's not. Well, here's my take. Why are so few people going to see Al Gore's new film? Well, because everybody realizes it's crap. Everyone realizes Al Gore is a hypocrite who's gotten rich on this global warming garbage. The question I would ask is why there are so many people so profoundly stupid that they did go see Al Gore's movie. Anyone willing to open their wallet and pay money to see ridiculous lies and hypocrisy that insults the intelligence of everyone who sees it, well, those people are kind of dead weight in our country, aren't they? Those are the easily led by the nose sheep that the Democratic Party caters to. Those are the people who worship at the altar of a pseudoscience that's not worth the paper it's printed on. Those are the people America just plain doesn't need anymore. So, au revoir. Let's take a break and we'll be back.
The American Freedom Network is not funded or supported by special interest groups or government programs. The American Freedom Network is not sponsored by advertisers demanding content or programming control.
The
American Freedom Network is solely funded by you, the listener.
Of course, the
Please
answer
help
is yes.
keep the American Freedom Network on the air by purchasing one of our sponsors' fine products or by calling 1-800-205-6245 to make a donation. The American Freedom Network needs your help. Now, this is the testimony of John when the Jews sent priests and Levites from Jerusalem to ask him, "Who are you?" He confessed and did not deny, but confessed, "I am not the Messiah." And they asked him, "What then? Are you Elijah?" He said, "I am not." "Are you the prophet?" And he answered, "No." The Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 19 through 21.
The associates at your 24-hour Walmart Supercenter in Lafayette remind us, no one anywhere is more noble, righteous, selfless, or courageous than our United States Armed Forces. These brave men and women and their families foot the bill for our freedom every day. Send a military care package today to let them know that they are in our hearts and our prayers and our thoughts. This message is from the associates at your 24-hour Walmart Supercenter on Highway 287 in Lafayette. They're on the air because they care.
Elizabeth Locker Plan and Elizabeth reminds our listeners that the drug problem is well documented. We know our kids will be approached at early age. We want to applaud the youngsters in our community who have had the strength to say no to drugs. They provide examples to their peers and families to be the best they can be. That's from Elizabeth Locker Plant, located at 366 Grant Street in Elizabeth, serving our area since 1943 and specializing in naturalized aged beef and pork and complete custom processing. Call 303-688-2240. That's 303-688-2240.
If you're taking 1, 2, 5, or more nutritional supplements, please stop. Simplify your supplementation with Bio Superfood, the most advanced nutritional whole food supplement you can buy. Men, women, children, even Olympic athletes the world over have discovered Bio Superfood from BioAge.com. And now take just one nutritional supplement instead of many. The Bio Superfood formulas are whole food products composed with 4 of the most nutrient-dense algae found on Earth. Bio Superfood for the brain helps with focus, memory, clarity, and mood. If you can increase brain health, the rest of the body is a no-brainer. Bio Superfood has 0 toxicity and is safe for you and your family. Learn more and order your Bio Superfood formulas at BioAge.com. Spelled BIOAGE.com. BioAge.com. Or call 877-288-9116. That's 877-288-9116. BioAge. The age of advanced organics.
My friends, we were just talking about Al Gore. Which is to say, we're talking about liberal hypocrisy, and there's plenty of it. By the way, this is Howard Riell, Real Truth. Speaking of liberal hypocrisy, you're not allowed to insult a woman by talking about the way she looks. Well, unless you're a liberal, then you're allowed to. Why are there different rules for liberals and everybody else? Well, you're not allowed to ask that question, so don't worry about it. Look, I think I got a caller on the line. Anyway, we were talking about liberal hypocrisy. For example, you're never allowed to disparage the way a woman looks. I mean, unless you're a liberal, then you are allowed. That's hypocrisy. Here's Tucker Carlson addressing that very issue.
Insults as long as you're a liberal in good standing. Dumb question. Of course, the answer is yes. You can do whatever you want. We've got yet another example from today. We never get sick of these. On Monday morning, Daily Beast writer Ira Madison III tweeted out a picture of Sarah Huckabee Sanders, the new press secretary over at the White House, along with the caption, "Butch Queen, first time in drag at ball." Now, for those of you who are not hip to lingo like that, he's basically suggesting that she is a bad male cross-dresser. Madison, Ira Madison III, is worth noting, is the same writer who ridiculed Jeff Sessions for having an adopted Asian granddaughter's confirmation hearings. He later deleted that tweet but has not apologized for it. And, of course, no one's asked him to because he's a liberal, so, whatever. It's not bad. Tammy Bruce and Ether Behrman are both radio show hosts, and they join us tonight. Thank you for coming on, both of you. So, Tammy, I mean, we could go on for hours, but, Does anybody on the left ever get in trouble for using language that people on the right would lose their jobs over?
You know, they don't. And this is the problem. If we're going to, as minorities, going to insist that we're somehow morally superior to people, maybe it would be helpful if there was actually some decent behavior involved, right? I mean, as a gay woman, I want everyone to have equal opportunity. I want everyone to be treated decently. That's really should be the foundation of any civil rights movement, of equal opportunity, equal treatment, being able to live our lives as we see fit. And it's a good argument to make, and it's a legitimate one, but it's difficult to be able to hold that foundation if you're on the left, when in fact you then continue to be the bully. That you're the one who says, well, you stand up for women, you're going to march and you're going to make those pink caps and you stand up for every woman. But when it comes to women in the Trump administration, not only are you going to call them names, you're going to objectify them based on their appearance. And it's not just Sarah Huckabee Sanders, it's also Kellyanne Conway, who was portrayed as a fatal attraction type of woman on Saturday Night Live. It's all really the women who have supported the president. And part of it, I have to argue, and I'll leave with this point, is that I think there's also some religious bigotry involved here as well, that's one of the differences with these women compared perhaps to liberal women, some of whom are people of faith, but I don't think that we can ignore that.
So my friends, let me interrupt Tammy Bruce for a second. Here's the message, and it's a loud and clear message that's been going on for many, many, many years. If you are a conservative American, well, you better watch what you say. Because if you say the wrong word, you're dead meat. If you're a liberal, you can say whatever you want because we know that you're more righteous than the rest of the human race. So go ahead and insult women the way they look, and go ahead and insult people who are religious. Insult anyone you want because you're a liberal, so it's okay. But if you're conservative, watch your mouth. The kind of hypocrisy needs to end. Won't end by itself. We've got to make it end by speaking up. Refusing to be cowed. No one should be body shaming anybody. That's the same on the right and on the left. And when the people on the left do it, we need to call them on the carpet and make them aware of it. Because they won't be aware of it on their own because they're not very smart people. Now let's listen to the liberal try and excuse what was done to Sarah Huckabee Sanders.
No, I think that's right. So, Ethan, I talk for a living, so I'm interested in what the rules are. So I thought the rules were you weren't allowed to attack people on the basis of their immutable characteristics, the basis of their sex or their race. You can't make fun of that stuff. It's not funny. And yet, I don't know, I see Joe Biden refer to Barack Obama as, clean and articulate, and he gets picked as VP. I see this Ira Madison character call her, mock her sexuality and her sex, and yet it's like not a big deal. Why is that allowed?
Well, I mean, again, we're using a single example here.
Stop. Already, in the first sentence, the liberal is lying and deflecting. Tucker just asked him a question, but he wants to talk about something else because he can't answer Tucker's question. Tucker wants to know why liberals are getting a pass insulting Sarah Huckabee Sanders. This guy wants to talk about history because he can't talk about the insults lodged against Sarah Huckabee Sanders. The first thing liberals do is either lie or deflect because they can't answer questions directly because they're dead meat. And so they lie.
Somebody who insulted, and by the way, well, okay, so two examples. Well, one was from a while ago at that point, but we have an example. We have an insulter in chief right now who, all the way through the.
We're back to another liberal tactic, my friends. If a liberal does something wrong, and you say you just did something wrong, his response is, "Yeah, but what about Trump?" A few years ago, if a liberal did something wrong, and you said to him you did something wrong, the response was, "Yeah, but what about Bush?" The names change, but the result is the same. There's hypocrisy, there's stupidity, there's groupthink, and there are a lot of your neighbors across the state of Colorado who were brainless enough to vote for this for president.
Campaign was busy insulting people, setting the tone for the country. He's now the president.
Yeah, the country had no tone until Donald Trump showed up. Until then, the country was a clean slate, right?
The president does set the tone for the country, and that includes insulting.
My friends, you are a schmuck. The Democrats are out there screaming, Donald Trump doesn't represent America. Well, this Democrat is saying the problem is that Donald Trump represents America.
People on a regular basis.
What is the argument that you're making?
What Ira said.
So what is the argument that you're making, that because Trump does it, it's okay? I mean, I thought the whole point was Trump's not supposed to do that. We're horrified that he does it. We're taking a moral stand against him doing it, but now we're doing it ourselves? Doesn't that kind of undercut the case?
Yes, that is the liberal argument. Remember, my friends, the golden rule is that liberals are children. When you point out to your kid that he did something wrong, the first response will probably be, yeah, but he did it. Yeah, but she did it. Yeah, but Trump did it. Yeah, but Bush did it. It's the response of a child, which is to say it's the response of a liberal. Don't think critically, they just feel. They react viscerally. That's why you can never trust liberals with power, because they will misuse it. They may wake up today and decide they want to do that. Why do you want to do it? I feel like it. Like Brad / Riell. What do you feel like today, Brad? A boy or a girl? That's liberalism. That's the danger of liberalism. That's the sickness of liberalism. And as I've said many times, it is liberalism that is the #1 threat to the United States of America and Western society as a whole. More than Islam. More than North Korea. More than Russia. We'll take a break and we'll be back, my friends. More Real Truth.
And of his fullness we have all received, and grace for grace. For the law was given through Moses, but grace and truth came through Yeshua HaMashiach.
They are trying to.
No one has seen God at any time. The only begotten Son, who is in the bosom of the Father, he has declared him. The Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 16.
Piccolo's restaurant in Denver reminds us that over 750,000 children were reported missing last year. Over 58,000 of these were abducted by non-family members. Keep an eye out for youngsters at play, and if you see anything suspicious, contact the authorities immediately. This message from Piccolo's restaurant in Denver is not only the best Italian and Mexican cuisine, it's the people who care. Give them a call at 303-757-5166. 303-757-5166. Piccolo. Firefighters need peace and in our team. We thank them for doing a great job keeping our area. Live, shop, and raise a family. We realize that job is dangerous and sometimes this message is from Simply. Call 352-2233. They're on the air because they care. The uniform people in Greeley.
Article 4. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrant shall be issued but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and describing the places to be searched and the persons or things to be seized.
All right, guys, welcome back to Real Truth. Item from Agence France Presse. An Israeli court has decided to strip an Arab-Israeli attacker of his citizenship, legal sources said on Monday, and what a rights group said was the first ruling of its kind. The Haifa District Court decided to strip Ala Zayud of his citizenship Sunday by applying a 2008 law that allows the Interior Ministry to deprive of their nationality those involved in terrorist activities. Adala, an Arab-Israeli rights group, said it was the first court decision of its time. The 22-year-old from al-Fahim in northern Israel was convicted on 4 counts of attempted murder after driving a car into Israeli soldiers and stabbing civilians in October 2015. Unquote. My friends, you don't want to get in trouble in Israel. Forget about it. You start mowing people down and stabbing people, you're going to have a lot of paperwork to do. And they're not going to let you pay taxes anymore. They don't kid around in Israel. Item from Breitbart. A burns surgeon who treated many acid attack victims coming out of East London has suggested that the proliferation of such crimes is now at epidemic levels. Dr. Martin Niall, burn surgeon at Mid-Essex Hospital, told National Public Radio in the U.S. that acid attacks in Britain, quote, are now at levels that one of my colleagues described as epidemic. He added, everyone, ourselves included, has been shocked by this emerging threat to public health, unquote. Dr. Niall, you're a schmuck. Who's shocked? Why should you be shocked? This is what Muslims do. You yank down your pants and grab your ankles as a nation and invite the Muslims in. This is an inevitability. So why are you shocked? Why are you shocked? Did anyone think that hundreds of thousands of Muslims would flood into England and there would not be people throwing acid? Those people, raise your hands. I don't see a single hand. Item from WorldNet Daily. Critics often say it would be far too expensive for the United States to deport all illegal immigrants. But the cost of letting them stay in the country would be much, much higher, according to a new analysis by the Center for Immigration Studies. In fact, it would cost roughly 6 times as much to allow current illegal immigrants to live in the U.S. for life than it would to deport them all, the study found. CIS used data from Immigration and Customs Enforcement, which reported the average cost of a deportation was $10,854 in fiscal year 2016. This figure includes the cost of apprehension, detention, and processing, unquote. So, my friends, 6 times that amount, roughly $66,000. So do they stay or do they go? Well, first of all, we build the wall. Second of all, we tell them to go. If they don't go, we arrest and deport them. If they fight with us, we kill them. That's how you maintain a nation. Item from Breitbart. At least 2 people were shot dead Friday, August 4th through Sunday, August 6th. A 72-hour period designated the Nobody Kill Anybody weekend by hashtag Baltimore Ceasefire. On July 12th, Breitbart News reported that city residents were being urged to take the hashtag Baltimore Peace Challenge, pledging to go 3 days without shooting at each other. But according to Fox News, at least 3 people have been shot before the weekend ended, and 2 of those victims died from their wounds. Both shooting deaths occurred on Saturday, unquote. So, my friends, here we are. It's August 2017. What do we expect of people? What do we ask of people? What watermark do we ask people to meet? What standard do we want them to adhere to? Just go a weekend without shooting someone. Baltimore, I hasten to point out, for decades, a Democrat stronghold. Item Sunday on Fox News Channel's Fox and Friends Weekend, Harvard law professor Alan Dershowitz responded to Representative Maxine Waters, Democrat California, accusing him of being a racist. Waters' claim was based on Dershowitz suggesting that President Donald Trump will have a disadvantage given the political makeup of the locality where a grand jury is impaneled is solidly Democrat, and the, quote, racial composition was not favorable to Trump. Dershowitz said Waters' race did not give her a license to declare people racist, and Dershowitz invoked the 1990s O.J. Simpson case, one of which he was a part. Quote, look, Maxine Waters should know better and does know better, Dershowitz said. She knows every experienced lawyer, white, black, Asian, Latino, knows that when you're selecting a jury, factors like ethnicity, race, political affiliation matter. If I had said that race didn't matter, she would have called me a racist. She throws around the term so loosely and so inappropriately, and it weakens her credibility. Stop! I disagree with Mr. Dershowitz. I don't think it weakens Maxine Waters' credibility, because I don't think she has even an iota of credibility. She has none. She is a crazed hag who has only gotten where she's gotten and stayed where she's gotten because she plays the race card 3, maybe 4 times a day. So all she does is scream racist. And the brain-dead morons who vote for her, that's all they want of an elected official. Go to Washington, D.C. and scream racist. And that's what Maxine does. So in a weird, convoluted kind of way, she really is representing her district. But make no mistake about it, she is a crazed hag. She's one of those people who should never be put in a position of power, and she's in a position of power. Same could be said for other liberals. She just happens to screech louder and look scarier and be a little bit stupider than the average liberal Congress member. But make no mistake about it, she is a wingnut. She is a whackball. And please, dear God in heaven, please, please make Maxine Waters the Democrat candidate in the next presidential election. Please. And then the following day, please allow California to secede from the Union. See, these are the things I pray for, my friends. Because Maxine Waters being the Democrat candidate ensures 4 more years of Donald Trump. So does California seceding. Both things would be good for America. Maxine Waters. We need to do drug testing on everyone who voted for Maxine Waters. And I recommend it begin immediately. We'll take a break and we'll wrap it up for Monday here on Real Truth. Stick around.
Beloved, do not believe every spirit, but test the spirits, whether they are of God, because many false prophets have gone into the world. By this you will know the Spirit of God. Every spirit that confesses that Yeshua, Jesus, has come in the flesh is of God, and every spirit that does not confess that Yeshua, Jesus, has come in the flesh is not of God. And this is the spirit of Antichrist, which you have already heard was coming and is now already in the world. 1 John 4:1.
No state shall enter into any treaty, alliance, or confederation, grant letters of marque or reprisal, coin money, emit bills of credit, make anything but gold and silver coin a tender in payment of debt, pass any bill of attainder, ex post facto law, or law impairing the obligation of contracts, or grant any title of nobility. Article 1, Section 10. If catastrophe struck, would your family be prepared? Are you confident you wouldn't react in a panic? Is there one place to get all of your emergency supplies? Ferris Survival encourages you to have confidence through preparation, not panic through crisis. Ferris Survival, located at 3366 South Broadway, is a professional, reputable, full-service business providing quality, realistic preparedness supplies at an affordable price. Go online, stop by, or call 303-781-0343. Ferris Survival. The American Freedom Network is not funded or supported by special interest groups or government programs. The American Freedom Network is not sponsored by advertisers demanding content or programming control. The American Freedom Network is solely funded by you, the listener. Please help keep the American Freedom Network on the air by purchasing one of our sponsors' fine products or by calling 1-800-205-6245 to make a donation. The American Freedom Network needs your help.
Item from Breitbart: President Donald Trump's crackdown on illegal immigration is already having a positive impact on American workers through increased wages in the construction industry. In a new report by Fox News, Texas construction companies admitted Trump's increased enforcement of immigration was forcing them to pay higher wages for U.S. construction workers, unquote. So, my friends, if you got an American making, I don't know, I'll just make up a number, making $20 an hour, and you get someone from some dirt-poor third-world toilet coming here willing to work for $2 an hour, well, the American worker is screwed, right? Donald Trump to the rescue. Thank you, Mr. President. Item from D.C., Washington, D.C., a Hebrew language music video urging Palestinians, Arabs, and Muslims to, quote, tear apart and kill Israeli Jews has begun circulating on Palestinian social media in the wake of the July 14th shooting death of 2 Israeli Druze policemen after Israeli Arab terrorists smuggled guns onto the Temple Mount complex and opened fire. Memory translated the video into English for international audiences. Here it is, quote, "Oh, Shin Bet agent, soldier, settler, policeman, I will attack you, tear you apart, and stab you," go the lyrics. Quote, "I will do what's never been done before for the sake of the Al-Aqsa Mosque, so that the Jews will know who I am, a Muslim, an Arab, a Palestinian. I will kill you, I swear by my religion." Unquote. So my friends, now we know precisely who we need to keep out of our country. A Muslim, an Arab, a Palestinian, and someone whose religion says he needs to kill us. Item from the D.C. Statesman. Liberals are ripping Secretary of State Rex Tillerson apart for not approving to spend more money that would help fight ISIS and fake Russian movements. The money was meant to be spent on advertising against ISIS, but Tillerson doesn't think spending millions on ads to fight terrorism is effective, and rightfully so. This is $60 million we're talking about, a huge savings to taxpayers. Unquote. My friends, here's a recommendation. Now, I don't work in a think tank, and I've never held elective office, and I've never even been in the military, but here's my thinking. All right, go along with me on this. Tell me tomorrow, because we're almost out of time, tell me tomorrow if you agree with me. When it comes to defeating terrorists, we could do it 2 ways. We could pay $60 million for advertisements, or we could kill terrorists. Which do you think represents a better investment of our $60 million? Advertisements or killing? Call me old-fashioned, but I think when someone is trying to kill you, you should probably kill them. I mean, it says it in the Bible. Yeah, who reads the Bible? Liberals say when someone's trying to kill you, put out an ad on social media or on television, maybe in the newspaper, because that'll stop them, right? Well, if you're a liberal, you probably do actually believe that that will stop them, which is why liberals need to be elsewhere and not in a position of power, because they will get innocent people killed every time. Yeah, Tillerson is right. You don't put out ads to stop terrorism. You slaughter terrorists, preferably in large numbers. And that's how you defeat terrorism. My friends, I'll be back tomorrow with more real truth. Listen to me. Stay safe. Stay healthy. And stay angry.